Rich, but I came from the Nile Valley. It's bittersweet, I smile sadly. Truth rarely seen like child's daddies. I'm in Hotep, I style flashy. Regarded highly, I'm Selassie. As time is passing, tribes are clashing. I know the ledge, I grow my dreads. My queen's two open legs have golden eggs, I'm hatched. 9 months had to hold my breath. Now I dream so heavy that I broke the bed. Provoke the feds that slaughter the sons. 12 get the 4-5 like a quarter to 1. The war has begun. Latin for sun, the soul and melanites get more of the sun. We the fortunate ones. Got the God in the womb and the Lord in my come, and no more means love. Death is the source that I'm from. Everything that they do, we have already done. Self-taught, my ice a melt salt. Mine high price, I write and sell thought. I felt cloth, I cannot in cotton shopping. Aquaponic, chronic options. Botanizing pot concoction. Earth a thought, her twat is rotten. Knowledge of my art forgotten. Watch the conscious sovereign doctrine. Not dishonest prophet goblins. Boxing out the box, I'm boxed in. Black magic, black yoni, black phallus. How they turn kings and queens to crack addicts. How they make us lose our sight like bad glasses. They know we invented original mathematics. Black magic, treat home like at Sabbath. I can hear beautiful music and bad static. I attract cash in bags like that's Magnus. Last maverick, blast fast like Zab Jab.
Peace, family. Welcome back to another episode of Underground Railroad. This is your host, Brother Rich, back once again with the living legend we missed last week, but we back, people. Professor Griff, welcome back, brother.
You're trying to get that unblemished record. This is a real life that we live, man. Sometimes you gotta take time off and reassess things and kind of, get back to your center. Yeah, but it's a pleasure to be back, man, good brother. Pleasure. So much going on, though.
A lot going on, brother. Oh man, Griff. All in the media, we have this blatant, and when I say blatant, I mean such an obvious and blatant double standard going on that it's sad to see. It's sad that the media can't even be more clever now. Because they keep running the same game over and over again. There was a shooting that occurred yesterday in Texas at a Baptist church, and it was a white male, and Trump, the same narrative, this lone wolf narrative. Trump says it's a mental illness problem. So now nobody's happy that it's a white person that did it, but what we're saying is that why is it every time the person happens to be white, there's a whole different narrative at play than if the person is black or if the person is Arab or if the person is just, not white. I want to read something real quick before I get into my questions, Professor Griff. I mean, there's so much material on this on the internet, but I just want to pick this website out in particular, WFNK.com. Shout out to them. It says the system failed him somewhere. Poor guy. His parents did all they can. Why didn't they know more? He acted alone. He taught himself. And once he's dead, it's all over. What a senseless tragedy. Some people really are crazy. Let's talk about how evil this guy was, then move on. There's no larger social context here. If he's black or Latino American, the narrative is very different. He's called a thug, a gangster, and he is acting out based on the inability of his people to control themselves. His laziness left him a loser in life, so he struck out against those with more than him. His education, his music, his parents, his community, his speech pattern, even his clothing are all identified as signs that we should be scared of this happening again from others sharing his skin tone or situation. The media gets a lot of mileage out of this type of story. If he's Muslim or his family originates from anywhere near the Middle East, he's immediately labeled a terrorist. And it is assumed his religious beliefs put him up to this act. He's not a thug, a gangster, or a lone crazy in that nationality. He's a terrorist working for forces against America. This narrative is strong enough to launch entire wars on it. So with that being said, Professor Griff, and they said since 1982, a study was done, 63% of mass shootings have been committed by white men. For Trump just to come out strongly and say this is mental illness, and not call him a thug or son of a bitch like he did the NFL players or anything like that. Griff, man, talk to me about this lone wolf narrative that keeps getting put out to the public via the mainstream media. It got to change eventually, right, Griff? I mean, talk to me about this, Professor.
No. I don't think it's going to change. When you say change eventually, no, it's not going to change eventually. They're going to ride that one out because they will never have the masses of the people, black, brown, red, and yellow people across this globe ever look at white people as not being sane. So when you look at white people as being normal, that's the paradigm from which they speak from. That's the point of reference in which they speak from. Because everyone else, especially Native Americans and black people, we're all savages according to them, and we're subhuman. So they position themselves like they're incapable of committing mass murder. That when you go back and you look at all of the mass murders, I believe there was a statistic that I had kind of pulled up, and it talked about the vast majority of mass murders are carried out by white men. Then it gave a certain geographical location. It gave a certain age. It wouldn't even went so far as to give job title and how many children they had and this kind of thing. So when you look at the situation from a broader perspective, Brother Rich, you have to look at it like you're looking at any statistic that white America is giving you. Of course, when you find white people always pointing the finger at someone else, it's always good to look back at white people because it's always like they're the savages, they're the niggers, they're underprivileged this, and they're the ones that can't control themselves, and they're the ones that don't have jobs, and they're the ones that's in the socioeconomic situation where more than likely they would be the ones carrying out these particular crimes. But the Vegas shooter, they said it was a lone gunman, and then now we find out there was a gun running deal that went bad and involved FBI, CIA, and a few other individuals. And now, since that stuff has came out and people have proven that, now you don't even hear about it. That has totally been off the news. So now this new gunman in Texas going into a church. Now, when I first heard that, I said, yeah, black people don't do that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And it's very rare that you might find Latinos and other people, Mexicans or whomever, going up in churches killing people. It was a white man that went up in the church and I believe stabbed Dr. Martin Luther King's mom. It was a white man who assaulted, I believe, Dr. Martin Luther King's dad, and he ended up dying. So we have to understand this whole particular dynamic with white people. They've always done this. But when you're talking about Sandy Hook, or whether you're talking about a movie theater, or whether you're talking about a school, whether you're talking about dealing with a church, and now this guy with a church, it's Devil Kelly, I call him. It's almost like this has become the norm and this has become their pattern. All right, so when you get down to the bottom of what these people are actually thinking, that would make them go out and kill a 17-month-old, a 77-year-old, members of your own family, people in the house of God. Yeah, there's something very sick with that, and I think white people need to take a good look at white people when they're trying to assess this thing. I've seen the talking heads, the bobbleheads on all of the major networks talking about this, and Trump came out and called this a mental illness. Well, is this systemic? Is this a mental illness right across white America? So white America needs an overhaul then if this is a mental illness, because we're finding this more frequent. It's almost like people are expecting it now, Brother Rich. When is the mass shooting? When's the next mass shooting going to be? You understand what I'm saying? It's almost like they're expecting it.
Let's talk about what's right versus what we call right versus or moral versus what gets results. we often hear Dr. Nelly Fuller. He talks about this code of conduct. We hear Tariq Nasheed talk about code of conduct. White people's ability, the media's ability to protect their image is, it's undeniable. They will go to the full extent to protect their image. And it seems to get them results. Regardless of what you read in history, the majority of the world, because they watch television, they're not even aware of everything that has happened, or if they are, they don't pay attention to it because there's this angelic thought that comes into your mind when you hear white. So, are they doing what we're supposed to do? Are we supposed to protect the sick individuals in our community and act like, they didn't just do nothing sick, or just brush it to the side, or not talk about black on black? Because you never hear them use the word white on white ever. They're never going to use that. So is this something that we should study and we should adopt in our own psychology?
No, we shouldn't. It's a sickness. It's a pathology. So no, we shouldn't mask it, nor should we hide it. They do it at the detriment of a church getting shot up, because the more you mask it, it's still there. It's not going anywhere. You have one shooter in Vegas that was not active on social media, and he killed 50-some-odd people, and he wounded 500. Then you have one that killed 26 people and wounded some other people, but he was very active on social media. In a big place like Las Vegas, and in a small country town like the one this week in Texas. So no, it shouldn't be masked. It should be dealt with head on. But we should not have this double standard. There's a document, or an article rather, by Jonathan Netzel, pardon me, and he talked about when the shooter is white, and he's an MD and he's a PhD. He's a director of the Center of Medicine, Health, and the Society in Vanderbilt University, and researcher, director of the state of the Safe Tennessee Project. All right. When we go to look at when the shooter is white, we have to look at everything that leads up to. And this is the thing, is the kind of research that they do. This is why Donald Trump can step up to the plate and says, in the case of opiates, all right, oh, this is a health issue. This is not a criminal issue.
Right, yeah.
White people on drugs? Oh, no. This is a health issue.
Oh, man.
When we already know when black people were on crack, it was a criminal issue.
Right.
There's an obvious double standard that we're talking about here. But now that we're talking about white people have this insatiable appetite to want to kill and murder and maim and destroy. So, but now that the dog is returning to its vomit, the chickens are coming home to roost, and white people are dying in these situations now. Now all of a sudden it becomes a mental health issue. But it wasn't a mental health issue before, when they constantly regurgitate this black on black crime scenario. But now that it's a mental health issue, they always have to play out the lone gunman. He had trouble in his past. His dad wasn't in the home. Fido, the dog left. They can't find Fido. Or his mom got cut from the PTA, or she got cut from being the leader of the Girl Scouts. Some traumatic event that happened in this individual's past that would cause this person at 32 years old now to want to go in a church and want to kill people. It says President Trump, who was quick to label other global acts as massive violence, as radical Islamic terrorism, well before investigations established such intentions, described the horrific shooting as an act of a very sick man. How do you know he was a very sick man, Donald Trump? Donald Trump said he was a very demented person without mentioning anything about the shooter's background or potential political ideology. Why? Because he was white? And this is the Vegas shooter. This is not the Texas shooter. All right? So already You're separating him from the group of white people, from the race of white people, saying that there was something apparently wrong with that particular individual, not the race. We're not a race of murderers and thieves and killers. Well, history proves that you are. So, when you do this kind of research, now listen, I'm reading from the ones that they've hired and the ones that they gave tenure to, the ones at their university. This is not Professor Griff talking off the top of my head. All right? So this is a very real dynamic in which we're dealing with, and we have to live with these people. As a matter of fact, these are the same people that run the government. These are the same people that you have to go and face in court. These are the same people that pull you over in the middle of the night. These are the same people that you got to take your children to when they get sick and you got to take them to the hospital. All right, Brother Rich, I want to throw this in there. It may or may not have something to do with the subject matter. But right now, as we speak, there are over 200 serial killers operating in the United States. 200.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel as though is Islam? You know, I was just reading something the other day where they were saying in Saudi Arabia, women just got the right to driving cars or go to sports stadiums and stuff like that, and they get Islam has a real bad reputation in the West. Do you feel as though Islam is it a legitimate threat to the Western world, to America, us over here, or are they just the boogeyman that we keep hearing about?
If you're talking about Islam as taught by Prophet Muhammad, if you're talking about the pure Islam, not Islam, not according to what we're seeing, whether it's online or whether it's coming and filtered through Western media, no, definitely not that Islam, Brother Rich. They fear the Islam that will set America straight, so to speak, that will give America a moral compass and some moral guidelines. Christianity is just not doing it. The vast majority of the serial killers and the mass murderers are Christians, white, male, and Christian. So white people have everything to fear when it comes to the radicalized Islam that they help radicalize. So we can't look at Islam as though this is Islam that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us. No. This is radicalized Islam that's responding to white male aggression. All right? When we talk about the foreign policy. So, no, I don't want people to confuse the two. When you're talking about someone that studies and practices and submits their will to do the will of Allah, you're not talking about someone that may be involved in mass murders and this kind of thing, and then all you have to do is go to church on Sunday and pray about it, and it's good. No, not at all. There's a penalty and a consequence that each one of us has to pay for our action, and that's real. All right? So, of course, America should have something to fear because, like I said earlier, the chickens are coming home to roost. The same people that you bombed, the same people that you've murdered, the same people now, their children have grown up. So we have to understand, and then we need to know enough to separate the religion of Islam from the politicalized, radicalized Islam by the West.
Indeed. Keep hearing about this group. What's their name again? I just thought about
Antifa?
Antifa. I didn't even know how to be Antifa. They said Alex Jones says the guy was Antifa. Keep hearing about them. They running around. I remember, I think last year I seen them running around with Black Lives Matter banners and stuff like that. Give me your take. I never asked you about. What's your take on Antifa? Who are these people?
I think they want to remain. Pseudo anonymous. You notice as long as they've been active, there's no one face of Antifa. We just keep hearing about random acts, and we have to be very mindful and very careful of the tricks of the CIA, all right, the tricks of the FBI, because there's nothing against the law for the FBI to lie. And I think we need to understand it and keep that in the front of our minds. But I think Antifa was set up as the antithesis to the Nazis, to the alt-right, to a lot of these kind of pro-white male groups, although Antifa may be pro-white male.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
we have to understand. We have to understand that particular dynamic, and that doesn't necessarily mean that Antifa, whoever these people are going to protect black people when black people need to be protected. For example, the one brother that got caught up in the physical melee there in Charlottesville, Virginia. All right, they charged him with assault. It's a felony charge he had. He's in court right now. If you see his beating, he got caught and cornered at a bank, I believe, near the ATM machine, and they almost beat him half to death, but yet they charged him. So we need to understand this particular dynamic. It almost had one lone brother probably walking to work, got caught up in the madness because he might have believed in a group like Antifa. Went out there to quietly protest, and he got caught up in the melee and ended up getting beat up and beat down and almost beat to death, and then turn around, and now they charge him with assault. We have to be very careful who we pick as our allies, because our enemy is not necessarily our friend. And that's the best way I can answer that, Brother Rich.
How long have they been around, this group? Because I've just been hearing about them probably the last year and a half.
That's what I was going to say, about a year and a half. They were probably in the formative stages, probably about 6 months. Mm-hmm. But you know, they groom these kind of people.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that, man, and not look past it. So when they say the shooter had Antifa literature found in the shooter in Vegas hotel room, well, what does that mean to us that don't even know who Antifa is? That can mean anything. So they can plant any kind of literature they want to plant and blame it on any group. Remember the Oklahoma City bombing? That's white on white crime at its best. But the early reports, and you can go back and listen for yourself, they blamed it on the Nation of Islam.
Yeah, they did?
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
They did. So Minister Farrakhan basically says, well, you tap my phone, you listen to every lecture, you go over it with a fine-tooth comb. Where do I ever advocate killing white people? Where do I ever advocate planting bombs and all this other kind of stuff? That just doesn't exist. So they have to make stuff up, like they're making up this black identity extremist madness. I'm surprised they didn't throw that literature around in the room. But you're right. As you said at the beginning of this, it's the same old rehearsed kind of Broadway play over and over and over and over again. As soon as this happened, I had a couple of crazies that hit me up from Facebook talking about this is a false flag, don't believe it, no one died. I was like, wow, you guys are sick. I'm serious. People need to stop watching YouTube for a minute. Everyone with a damn cell phone and a computer has these crazy conspiracy theories, man.
Yeah, them conspiracy theories have definitely gotten out of hand.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. When they use when they use the term domestic terrorism, is that just a fancy way of avoiding saying white on white violence? Do you think that's an appropriate term, or are they just trying to avoid saying white on white violence?
Yeah, you will never hear that racial construct come from their mouths and grouping them together as being terrorists, because that's the average white man that you see, that you might see walking out of Home Depot. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he's become now almost the poster boy for mass murder. Although we as black people, we've always known this. Every time we hear a news report, and it's a lot of people murdered, and they killed some people, and we automatically think, oh, a white man did that. Don't you?
Yeah.
You don't think black, you don't think Hispanic, you don't think any of these other nationalities or ethnic groups, so to speak. You automatically think white people simply because this has been their modus operandi. This has been how they've operated. And they don't care. They kill indiscriminately. They will kill young people, old people. They don't care if you get in the way. You shouldn't have been there with the nigger. We're killing everybody. What this gentleman in Texas, what his prime motivation was, I have no clue. Obviously, he had some domestic issues. So he had domestic issues, and he put it out there, and he killed people on a domestic level. So would you consider this now domestic terrorism? The news is not positioning it that way. It's a domestic incident, a mass shooting incident that just so happens to stem from domestic issues, violence issues in the home. That's treatable. This has nothing to do with it being systemic, and the average person that would do this are white men between the ages of, 18 to 80, young, dumb, blind, crippled, and crazy. So we have to understand, when they say domestic terrorism, know that they're using code words, and no one will ever truly be brought to justice. They're definitely not going to indict the entire white race like they do black people, because there's no laws on the books right now that can bring domestic terrorists to justice. Please find me one, and I know people are listening to this that are studying law and all this other kind of stuff. Please send it to me. Leave it in the comment section below. Show me a law where you can bring a white male that's accused of domestic terrorism to justice. Under what charge? I would like to know.
Well, when something like this happens, everybody starts talking about gun laws and what should be done about gun laws. Trump says it's not a gun problem. It's a mental illness problem. A lot of people feel as though the gun laws have to be changed. What direction do you feel, should they go in terms of gun laws, Professor Griff?
It's easy to blame the gun. But do you know how many guns presently exist? What they say, 9 million is the statistic. 9 million, Brother Rich.
It's a lot.
I'm baffled. 9 million guns, but yet every time a mass shooting happens, all right, and they're using different weapons. The Vegas shooter had 42 weapons? I think 32.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
And they started focusing on the bump stock. Okay, so now it's a device that you can hook up to your weapon, and you can go from semi to fully automatic. Well, this guy had a criminal record, domestic issues, domestic violence, and was still able to buy an AR-15. You understand what I'm saying? So It's not the gun, Brother Rich. Guns don't kill people. It's people that kill people with guns. It's not a gun issue. They want to disarm all of us, Brother Rich, so we can't defend ourselves. That's just the bottom line to that, man. This is not a gun issue, simply because if he is that incensed that he wants to kill up people in a church, he'll do it with whatever weapon he get his hands on. An old rusty 38. You understand what I'm saying? Regardless of what it is. But because it's a fully automatic weapon, he could have killed that many people in a church if you corner people with a semi-automatic. So they keep bringing up the gun issue, how they need to take guns and take them out of the hands of people that they don't belong in the hands of these people that have this particular mental illness. And I agree with that. No, these crazy white people, white men that between the ages of 8 and 80 that have become the mass murderers in every mass shooting in America should not have guns, plain and simple. But that's so many white men in America, they're not going to let that happen. Nope, that's like trading baseball cards and eating apple pie in America. White people own guns.
Right.
Plain and simple.
But what do you think it says about somebody who wants to own 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guns? Is that like something bad, a bad sign or something, Griff?
No, because I know some older black men that have gun safes in their house, and they got 10, 15, 20 weapons. Mm-hmm. I know some people I came through some police training with, some black guys. They either do security work or National Guard or whatever, and, they own 10 guns. I think the average person, from what I was reading, own at least 2 guns. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that number they're bumping that number up because the average person, I'm just saying to you personally speaking, the average person should own 3. A rifle, a handgun, and a shotgun. And that's just common knowledge. That's basic. That's basic home defense. Defending your family and your home. So I'm saying to you, when you start talking about these gun enthusiasts now, that just have to have the latest technology, you have to have the latest gun. You got to modify your gun to kill, 50 people at a time. It's like, no, absolutely not. Not at all. But I'm the same individual that think that police shouldn't have military weapons. You understand what I'm saying? I'm the same guy that believe that, or not believe, but know and understand that they need to change the laws to see who actually gets to own the gun. Because in Atlanta, I'd say about 4 months ago, there was a rash of burglaries that were happening, and these young kids, and they caught some of them, and when they was interviewing them, they said, yeah, we were just breaking in police cars, we were breaking in every place that we thought might have a gun. We didn't want to take the gun and sell it. They wanted to take the gun and then do crimes. So not only owning a gun, but gun safety, knowing how to use the gun, being responsible. Plain and simple. And I think it needs to start with these psychotic, trigger-happy, deranged police officers. Because it's quiet. They haven't stopped killing us in the street. They just haven't been putting it on the news. So one brother said they came up with these new cell phones that won't allow them to film police officers. I said, what's the mechanism now? He said, you point your phone at a white cop, it won't film. It's like, God damn. I doubted that they had that kind of software, man. But it almost seems that you can never bring a white police officer to justice after killing unarmed black people. Is that a gun issue? Is that a gun issue? Is that a police issue? Is that a societal issue? Is that a race issue? I say all of the above. White men, Brother Rich, are the problem in America, not black people, not immigrants. Not Anthony Weiner, who just started his sentence. Not Ross, who Donald Trump hired, and then they found out that he had connections to Russia. Not somebody. These people are sick, man. When you really pull back 2 or 3 layers, you see exactly who these people are. You understand what I'm saying? They related to the mass murderers that's still killing people in foreign countries right now. They're the same ones that have stock in some of these companies that's creating these vaccines and these drugs that's killing people on a massive scale. So, no. These are the same flag-waving hypocrites talking about don't trample on the anthem and the American flag. We stand for the flag. Right. While you killing black and brown people all over the globe. We don't fall for these hypocritical demons, man. We shouldn't fall for it, Brother Rich. Please, trust me. I don't. I mean, I study enough to know exactly who and what these people are and how they work. This is why I formulated the study group, man, so people can get on and we can study. And we can go over current events, what's going on today, what's going on in history, how can we prepare for tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only people I know that's going to survive, those who prepare for tomorrow today. Because this ain't the last mass shooting we're going to hear of. These people want to make a name for themselves, man. These people want to go out in a blaze of glory. Because if you look at the news close enough, what was his demand? What did he want? What was his motivation? Him and the Vegas shooter. Even when you look at Dylan Roof, what the hell was the motivation? You just hate black people? Okay? Then when you get to the bottom of that, they're like, well, black people messed this country up. No, white people that brought black people here messed this country up. Because according to our research, there were black people already here. But when you set in motion the peculiar institution called slavery, this is what happened with black people. And then you set this social construct called race, and you had a slave trade based in a slavery system, based on skin color alone. Because before when they had to deal with you, they had to deal with, and they kind of dealt with you according to what you believed, what was your belief. And if you didn't have the same belief, then you'd get into some friction with someone. But now it's not even based on belief. It's based on your skin color. And that's sad.
The people that commit these mass shootings, Griff, or the people who have the mentality to do something of that nature, are they? Do you think they're born that way, Griff? Where does this originate from? Are they born that way, or does something in this society trigger them to do something like that?
It's in their genetical makeup. They have a mass murder serial killer gene built into their DNA. You have so many people leaving so many comments under here, and then I got to prove no white people cannot exist in a place anywhere where they have to take rule and instruction from anyone darker than them. And then we'd have to go through the history to build a case, Brother Rich, to show and prove that anytime white people are in close proximity to anyone else, all right, white people have to rule. And this is just a real, very real dynamic. But if I said all of that, Brother Rich, and I stood on it, and that was my answer, oh, man, they come after us. Because now I'd have to prove it. I got to get scientific, empirical data. I'd have to go back and dig up a case study. I'd have to prove it. When all I would have to do is just say, look at the last 15, 20 mass murders. I don't care if it's Bowling, I don't care if it's Columbine. I don't care if it's Oklahoma City bombing. I don't care where it is. All right? You always find the same dynamic. If white people are doing this, they almost have to blame black people and what happened to white people, and the fault and the blame always has to be on someone else. And this is true when you kind of look at it. Now, I'm not a behavioral scientist. I don't even claim to be that damn intelligent. But I'm saying to you, if you have a basic common sense and you look at what's going on, you keep seeing the same scenario over and over. Mass shooting in a church, white guy did it. He had access and white privilege because he has access to weapons. He has access to the means in which to carry it out. They won't even let black people have the means, have access to the means to carry that out. If you look at mass shooting in a theater, oh, yeah, well, it was, San Bernardino. They first said that it was three tall, well-built white men dressed in black. Then it ended up being two Muslims, which I've never found that to be true. And until they caught not Dylan Roof, but Clebo and the other gentleman in Columbine, they would have stuck that on somebody black. So we have to, and then they go, even with those kind of cases, they went back to see what happened in the home and this, that, and the other. Come to find out, man, that he got too many Tootsie Rolls when he was in kindergarten, and they kind of got together and wanted to kill their parents and kill everybody else. No, I'm just saying to you in a nutshell, they're denying the pathology. America has one, and then at the same time they're denying that they have one. And this is what's allowing these mass murders, not the main thing that's allowing it to happen, but we have to look at it. And we have to look at it for exactly what it is, Brother Rich. Go to the source. So I'm expecting to get all the ugly comments and the threats.
I guess that's the perfect way to wrap the show up. Before we get out of here, Griff, I want you to leave all the information you got in terms of, I know you got classes, I know you got some lectures coming up. Let the people know all about it, brother.
Oh, okay, yeah. The classes are every Wednesday night, the study group, which is going to evolve into a think tank, every Wednesday night from 8 to 10. You can join that by looking at the flyer on this broadcast, or you can go to www.professorgriff.me. All right, or if you want to join directly, just go to www.paypal.me/Professor Griff Corporation. And Brother Rich, if you could put that on there where they could just click and go to it, that would be a beautiful thing. I'll send it to you. All right, but I will be speaking in Detroit. Me and Terminator X are doing the historical view of the history of hip-hop in Detroit with College L.I. King of the Black History 101 Mobile Museum. Go to my Facebook page and check out the information and the flyer for that. Also, the Black Power Awards is coming up, and I'll be with my man DJ on Friday at 2 o'clock, downtown ATL. Myself, Professor Smalls, and a few other people are giving workshops on Friday. It's a hotel, I believe, a Sheraton Hotel on Cortlandt Avenue. That's Friday afternoon. So if you get in town early and you need something to do, someplace to go, the workshops are on Friday. The actual Black Power Awards are on Saturday. All right. But other than that, Brother Rich, I got some things that are pending, that are coming up around the country, late November and December. I just want to let people know Soleil's class is actually tomorrow, November 7th. So, sisters, if y'all haven't joined up for the class, she's doing Yoni Love, womb wellness, and pelvic floor information that she needs to give everybody in reference to womb wellness. But, Brother Rich, people can contact me at 678-557-2919. That's 678-557-2919. Or they can email me at seriousmindsinfo. That's seriousmindsinfo@gmail.com. Or just hit me up on IG, Professor Griff, Facebook, Professor Griff. Yeah, Brother Rich. So, yeah, I've gotten accustomed to doing a shorter show, Brother Rich, every other day now, because there's so much happening. I'm just trying to keep up.
Right, indeed.
I mean, it's ridiculous. There's so much stuff happening, man.
Yeah, man, shit. It is definitely overwhelming if you're watching the news with all the stuff going on, man. So I wanna thank everybody for listening.
Brother Rich, Brother Rich, I think we need to say one thing, and we'd be remiss if we didn't. This EMP that was supposed to happen last weekend, what happened?
Man, didn't happen, Griff. Didn't happen.
So these people that's constantly putting this kind of information out, we need to be a lot more thorough, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not throwing stones at anyone, but I'm saying we need to be a lot more thorough, man. We're supposed to be in the dark between the 4th and the 6th. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just think we need to just have put that out. But go on, Brother Rich.
No, I'm glad you brought that up. Definitely. Definitely need to step our information game up and stop being so sloppy with the information that's being put out there. So thanks for bringing that up, Griff. I also wanted to tell everybody, make sure you sign up to Patreon. You can go to Professor Griff's Patreon. You can go to my Patreon, Black Magic 363. Make sure you show love and support on PayPal as well. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to us. And on that note, we're going to sign our family. We're going to see all y'all next week. Peace.
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 Peace, family. This brother Rich from UGR, urging all my viewers and subscribers to help support the channel by donating just $1 to the UGR PayPal account. We appreciate the viewership and support, and we understand the power of $1. If you benefit in any way, shape, or form, we ask that you donate $1, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, or yearly, so that we can build our brand to compete with the NBCs, the MTVs, and the Foxes of the world. I figured since Kanye could ask Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion, I could ask my subscribers to donate $1 so I could make the best possible content possible. The main objective of this channel is to inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. So hopefully throughout the years of you watching this program, you have been inspired to become the greatest version of yourself. If you would like to donate, you could go to www.paypal.com and send a donation to richandmerit7@yahoo.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your program.
Rich, but I came from the Nile Valley. It's bittersweet, I smile sadly. Truth rarely seen like child's daddies. I'm in Hotep, I style flashy. Regarded highly, I'm Selassie. As time is passing, tribes are clashing. I know the ledge, I grow my dreads. My queen's two open legs have golden eggs, I'm hatched. 9 months had to hold my breath. Now I dream so heavy that I broke the bed. Provoke the feds that slaughter the sons. 12 get the 4-5 like a quarter to 1. The war has begun. Latin for sun, the soul and melanites get more of the sun. We the fortunate ones. Got the God in the womb and the Lord in my come, and no more means love. Death is the source that I'm from. Everything that they do, we have already done. Self-taught, my ice a melt salt. Mine high price, I write and sell thought. I felt cloth, I cannot in cotton shopping. Aquaponic, chronic options. Botanizing and pot concoction. Earth a thought, her twat is rotten. Knowledge of my art forgotten. Watch the conscious sovereign doctrine. Not dishonest prophet goblins. Boxing out the box, I'm boxed in. Black magic, black yoni, black phallus. How they turn kings and queens to crack addicts. How they make us lose our sight like bad glasses. They know we invented original mathematics. Black magic, treat home like at Sabbath. I can hear beautiful music and bad static. I attract cash in bags like that's Magnus. Last maverick, blast fast like Zab Jab.